Welcome to LuckScout Economic News and Strategies. Let's deep dive into a topic that might not seem thrilling at first glance, but is incredibly important for all of us. Tonight, we're diving into the wild world of consumer credit. Yes, you heard that right, consumer credit. It's a term that gets thrown around a lot, but what does it really mean? It might sound about as exciting as watching paint dry, but trust me, this stuff affects all of us in more ways than you might think. Whether you're buying groceries, booking a vacation, or even just paying your bills, consumer credit plays a role. So, what exactly is consumer credit month over month? It's a term that refers to the change in the amount of debt that consumers accumulate on a monthly basis. This includes everything from credit card debt to personal loans. In a nutshell, it's the change in how much debt we rack up each month on those lovely plastic cards and loans. It's a way to measure our spending habits and financial health over time. Think of it like this. Every month, you get your credit card statement. If it's higher than last month, that means you've spent more and possibly taken on more debt. This is consumer credit in action. You get your credit card statement and it's higher than last month. Maybe you splurged on a new gadget or had an unexpected expense. Either way, that increase is a part of the consumer credit equation. That, my friends, is consumer credit in action. It's a dynamic and ever-changing figure that reflects our collective financial behavior. Now, why should we care about this seemingly boring statistic? Well, it's more than just a number. It's a pretty good indicator of how confident we feel about the economy. When we're feeling flush, we tend to whip out those credit cards with reckless abandon. We buy more, we invest more, and we generally feel more optimistic about our financial future. When we're confident, we spend more. We might buy that extra pair of shoes or go out for a fancy dinner. This increased spending is reflected in higher consumer credit numbers. But when the economic skies darken, we tighten our belts and try to keep those balances in check. We become more cautious, and our spending habits change accordingly. So there you have it, a crash course in consumer credit month over month. It's a simple concept with far-reaching implications. It tells us a lot about our collective financial health and our confidence in the economy. It's a simple concept with far-reaching implications. Whether you're a financial analyst or just someone trying to manage your personal budget, understanding consumer credit can give you valuable insights. Stay tuned as we unpack the latest numbers and explore what they mean for you, your wallet, and the economy at large. We'll look at trends, analyze data, and try to make sense of it all. Now, let's move on to the juicy stuff. The recent surge in consumer credit. What's driving it? What does it mean for the future? And how can you navigate this complex landscape? Buckle up, buttercups, because things are about to get interesting. We're going to delve into the numbers, the trends, and the stories behind the statistics. So grab a cup of coffee, sit back, and let's get started. Hold on to your hats, folks, because consumer credit just took a nosedive into a swimming pool full of money. Yes, you heard that right. The numbers are in, and they are nothing short of astonishing. That's right, in July 2024, it shot up by a whopping $11.4 billion. This isn't just a small uptick, it's a significant leap that has caught the attention of economists and financial analysts alike. Now, to put that into perspective, that's like every single person in America spontaneously deciding to buy a really fancy coffee maker, all at once. Imagine the sheer volume of transactions happening simultaneously. It's a consumer frenzy. To give you a little context, the previous month saw a more modest increase of, say, $5 billion. So, what does this sudden jump tell us? Well, it could be a sign that consumers are feeling pretty darn optimistic about the economy. They're swiping those cards like there's no tomorrow, confident that they can handle the debt down the road. This kind of behavior often indicates a strong belief in future financial stability. But, as with all things in life, there's a flip side to this coin. While this surge could signal a booming economy, it could also be a sign that people are relying more heavily on credit to make ends meet. And that, my friends, could spell trouble down the line. If people are overextending themselves, it could lead to a wave of defaults and financial strain. So is this credit surge a cause for celebration or concern? The answer isn't straightforward. Let's delve deeper into the economic impact and find out. When we look at the broader economic indicators, we see a mixed bag. On one hand, increased consumer spending can drive economic growth, leading to more jobs and higher wages. On the other hand, if this spending is fueled by unsustainable debt, it could lead to economic instability. Economists are divided on the issue. Some argue that this surge in credit is a positive sign, reflecting consumer confidence and a robust economy. Others warn that it could be a bubble waiting to burst, with dire consequences for those who are over-leveraged. To get a clearer picture, we need to consider other economic indicators such as GDP growth, unemployment rates, and inflation. If these indicators are also showing positive trends, it could support the argument that the economy is on solid footing. However, if we see rising unemployment or inflation, it could indicate that the surge in credit is masking underlying economic weaknesses. It's crucial for individuals to manage their finances wisely and not get carried away by the availability of easy credit. For the average consumer, this means taking a closer look at their own financial situation. Are you using credit to invest in your future, or are you using it to cover everyday expenses? The answer to this question can make a big difference in your financial health. Financial advisors recommend creating a sustainable financial plan that balances spending, saving, and investing. This approach can help you navigate the ups and downs of the economy without falling into the trap of excessive debt. A balanced financial plan includes setting aside money for savings, making smart investments, and keeping track of your expenses. By doing so, you can ensure that you're prepared for whatever the future holds. In conclusion, while the surge in consumer credit is certainly noteworthy, it's important to approach it with a balanced perspective. Celebrate the positive aspects but remain cautious and prepared for potential challenges. After all, a well-informed and prepared consumer is a resilient one. Stay tuned as we continue to monitor these trends and provide you with the insights you need to make informed financial decisions. Until next time, keep a close eye on your finances and stay savvy. Alright, let's talk about the elephant in the room, or should I say the giant pile of cash in the economy. When consumer credit rises, it usually means people are spending more, and when people spend more, businesses rejoice. They sell more products, hire more employees, and the economy in theory gets a nice little boost. Think of it like this. You buy that new gadget you've been eyeing, the store owner uses that money to pay their employees, and those employees in turn go out and spend their hard-earned cash. It's a beautiful cycle, until it's not. Because here's the catch. Increased spending can also lead to inflation. When demand outstrips supply, prices tend to go up. And when prices go up, our wallets start to cry. So, while this spending spree might seem like good news in the short term, it could come back to bite us in the you-know-what later on. Confidence boost or bubble trouble, consumer sentiment, and the credit surge. Now let's talk about feelings, shall we? Specifically, how confident consumers are feeling about the economy. When credit is flowing freely and people are racking up debt, it often indicates a sense of optimism. It suggests that people believe the good times are here to stay and they'll be able to handle those credit card bills down the line. This confidence can be a self-fulfilling prophecy. When businesses see consumers spending with gusto, they're more likely to invest and expand, further fueling economic growth. But, and you know there's always a but, this confidence can also be built on shaky ground. What happens if those rosy economic forecasts don't pan out? What if people lose their jobs or interest rates skyrocket? Well, that's when things can get a little hairy. That mountain of debt suddenly becomes a lot less appealing, and consumer confidence can evaporate faster than you can say recession. Will the Fed tap the brakes? This is the question on everyone's mind as we navigate through these turbulent economic times. Remember that whole inflation thing we talked about earlier? It's not just a passing concern, it's a persistent issue that affects every aspect of our economy. Well, it's something the Federal Reserve, aka the big kahuna of the US economy, keeps a very close eye on. The Fed's role is crucial as they are the gatekeepers of monetary policy. Their job is to keep inflation in check while also promoting economic growth. This dual mandate is no small feat and requires constant vigilance and adjustment. It's a delicate balancing act, kind of like trying to juggle chainsaws while riding a unicycle. Imagine the precision and skill required to maintain that balance without causing a disaster. Now, when the Fed sees consumer credit and spending on the rise, they get a little nervous. Increased spending can be a double-edged sword. It boosts the economy but also risks overheating it. They know it could lead to inflation, which is about as welcome as a skunk at a picnic. Inflation erodes purchasing power and can lead to a host of economic problems. So what do? The Fed has several tools at its disposal, but one of the most effective is adjusting interest rates. They might decide to raise interest rates. This is a signal to the economy that borrowing costs are going up, which can slow down spending and investment. This makes it more expensive to borrow money, which can cool down the economy and keep inflation in check. But here's the rub: raising interest rates isn't without its downsides. Raising interest rates can also slow down economic growth. This is because higher borrowing costs can lead to reduced consumer spending and business investment. It's a classic catch-22, and the Fed has to walk a very fine line. They must carefully consider the timing and magnitude of any rate changes to avoid tipping the economy into recession. So, buckle up, folks, because the Fed's actions in response to this credit surge could have a big impact on all of us. Whether you're a business owner, a consumer, or an investor, the Fed's decisions will ripple through the economy, affecting everything from mortgage rates to stock market performance. For everyday families, these decisions can mean the difference between affordable loans and higher monthly payments. It's a reminder of how interconnected our financial system is and how the Fed's policies touch every corner of our lives. Small business owners in particular feel the impact of these changes. Higher interest rates can mean higher costs for financing growth, which can stifle innovation and expansion. Investors, too, are keenly aware of the Fed's moves. Stock markets often react sharply to interest rate changes, with potential gains or losses hinging on the Fed's next steps. The Fed's chair, often seen as the face of these decisions, must communicate clearly and effectively to manage expectations and maintain market stability. Historically, the Fed's decisions have had profound impacts on the economy. From the Great Depression to the financial crisis of 2008, their actions have shaped the economic landscape in significant ways. Understanding the relationship between interest rates and inflation is key to grasping why the Fed's decisions matter so much. Higher rates can curb inflation, but they can also slow down economic growth, making the Fed's job incredibly challenging. As we move forward, staying informed about the Fed's actions and their potential impacts is crucial. Whether through news updates, financial reports, or expert analysis, knowledge is power in navigating these economic waters. The Fed's decisions will continue to shape the economic landscape, influencing everything from individual financial decisions to the broader health of the economy. So, keep an eye on those interest rates and be prepared for the ripple effects they bring. Please like the video and share it with others. Thank you for watching.